Hi there, welcome to the Schwowin's Nest. My name is Sandra. Here on my channel, I love farmhouse decor, and I really love making something out of nothing. If that sounds like fun to you, I would love it if you could stick around and keep watching. Whatever I create, whether it is some seasonal decor or everyday decor, it's always going to have a farmhouse touch. Let's get crafting. If you saw my last thrift haul, you saw me pick up this cute little rooster frame. It's cute, not my style. Gonna fix it up a bit. I'm just gonna take the whole thing apart. Now that I've got all my pieces, I'm going to be adding a little barn door to the back of this to cover up that cute little print that I don't want. I'm going to use some of these jumbo craft sticks, and I'm just going to mark off how long I need them to be, and I'll use my miter shears to cut 5 different pieces. I love these miter shears, so if you're interested in checking them out, I've got a link in my description box. Now that I've got them all cut, I'm going to go ahead and use hot glue, glue them to the bottom of this little box. I'm having some issues with glue leaking out of my hot glue guns, so if you have any tips that you could share with me, leave those down in the comments because I'm tired of having big globs of glue all over my desk. I'm going to use the coffee stir sticks to frame out the jumbo craft sticks. They weren't 100% of a fit, so this is just going to camouflage it. I'll just line these up, mark where I need to cut, and use my miter shears again. Using the coffee stir sticks again, I'm going to start making the angled pieces that I need for my barn door. I'm going to use the miter shears to cut a small arrow shape into the first part of my craft stick. Then I'm going to place it in the corner and then mark off where I need to cut the next one. I'm going to cut the bottom piece into an arrow design as well. That's just going to help it fit right snugly into the corner. I'm just going to hot glue it in place. For the other cross beams, I went ahead and cut an arrow shape into the one corner and then measured out where I needed to cut it so it wouldn't overlap the first piece that I put on there. The hot glue is more than enough to keep these in place. This is probably one of the most finicky pieces of decor that I'm working on. I haven't done one of these in a really long time. Usually when I'm working on tiered tray decor, I end up using all sorts of little bits and pieces to make it look the way I want it to. So what I'm doing here is taking a 1/4 inch square dowel, and I'm just going to be cutting it so it goes around that lip that you can see there. I wanted that to be kind of even, and I didn't want that to be there. You don't have to do this part, but I just thought it would look better. I want to make a barn door roof for this little box. So I'm just using a piece of leftover sign from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just marking how far I want the roof to stick out on each end. Then I'm just going to use my miter shears and kind of press into the one side, flip it over, press the other side, and then I'll be able to snap this piece of board. I just used a little bit of sandpaper to smooth down the one edge. I'm just going to eyeball the shape of the barn roof, but if you're not comfortable doing this, you can probably find a barn shape roof online somewhere, print it off, and then just trace it onto your sign. I'm just kind of winging it and doing what I need to do until I get the shape that I want. Once I've got my dots marked, I'm just going to take my ruler and connect those dots because then I'll be able to use my utility knife and just score this board and cut right through it. When I'm doing different shapes like this, I like to go straight through the piece of board instead of stopping where my line stops. That just makes it easier for me to work with the remaining pieces of board. So you'll see me here in a minute pop this off, and then I'm going to just move my ruler into the different direction and go straight up to the top. It just makes for longer cuts, and that makes it easier on my hands. Once I have the roof all cut out, I'm just going to take some sandpaper again and smooth up the edges. I'm going to hot glue the barn roof to the top side of the box. I'm also going to use the coffee stir sticks to make a little frame around the barn roof. This is the same way that I've been doing everything else. I'm just going to measure out what I need, snip it with my miter shears, and then glue it on. To cover up the ugliness on the sides and the back of the box, I'm going to use these garden stakes. And again, just measure out the length that I need and then use my miter shears to cut it. I gave the barn 2 coats of white chalk paint, and now I'm going to distress it with black. My favorite way to accent the edges and the corners is to just take the brush and pull it in from the outside towards the center. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that properly, but you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Then all I need to do is glue my little rooster back inside the box, and I think this turned out super cute. You'll have to let me know what you think. I'd like to share a little bit about the sponsor of this video, Evite. Evite offers thousands of free invitation options, all fully customizable for all occasions. Birthdays, weddings, baby showers, whatever you're celebrating, virtually or in person. Their design templates make it easy, fun, and simple to create an invitation so everything you're celebrating is extra special. And to really step up your invites, you might want to check out their premium invitations. Every year, my family and I celebrate Oktoberfest. And lo and behold, there is an Oktoberfest section in the Evite. I was so excited to find this. I'm scrolling through a whole bunch of different options. There are some free invitation items and there's also some premium. I'm going to choose this one down in the corner here because I thought it looked really cute with all of these fun people celebrating. Creating this fun invitation was so quick and easy. I'm going to start by putting in my title, "It's Time to Polka." And then I'm going to choose the host, which is going to be me because everybody always crashes at our house. I'll put in the date and the start time and the address. If it's a birthday party or a baby shower perhaps, or even a bridal shower that you are hosting, you can add in a link to Amazon and people can easily go find a gift that they can bring. Of course, with the Oktoberfest invitation that I'm creating here today, all they need to do is bring their cheer and their schnitzel pants. Down here is where I can add this message to all of my guests so they know exactly what to do to get ready for the party. Evite also has some neat hosting tools. You can do a poll or you can do a what to bring list so each person will know exactly what they need to bring to the celebration. Once this is complete, I'm going to click on the continue button and Evite will automatically save this invitation to my account. Next, I'm going to add my guests so I can send them their invitation. You can do this by email or phone. Email to me is the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a couple of email addresses. Once I'm done with that, I can click on Add Guest and the list will be populated down at the bottom. Once I've added all my guests, I can do a few things with this invitation. I can share the invitation by copying the link right here, or I can even share it to Facebook and Twitter. What I'm going to do is click on the Finish and Send button, and that will finish my invitation and send it to all of my guests. Using Evite was so fast and easy, I got my invitations done from start to finish in less than 5 minutes. Make all your celebrations more fun, exciting, and extra special. Head over to evite.com/Schwowin to choose from thousands of design options to create and send invitations for free. Again, that's evite.com/Schwowin. I'll have all the information for you down in my description box. I'd like to thank Evite for sponsoring today's video. It sure was a lot of fun, and looking at all of the different designs available, I'm definitely going to be using Evite again in the near future. Another fun thrift store find were these three little farm animals on their own stands. Now, the rooster is broken, but I broke him, so I'll be using my Weld Bond glue to glue him back together and then let him set up. I'm going to use the baking soda and paint mixture. I've got about half and half baking soda to paint, and I'm going to mix that together and just do the animal shapes in white. I'm going to paint each of the bases with my black chalk paint. This is going to need a couple of coats to make sure that it's nice and solid. And I'm not going to do any distressing with these three little guys. There was a little bit of the wood stain bleeding through the white, so they kind of look already distressed in a few spots. So I just thought I would work with that and leave them the way they are. For this project, I'm going to repurpose the glass and the frame that was the front part of the rooster that I picked up. So what I'm going to do is just take some gray paint and paint this first with one coat, front and back, because I want to make sure that when I paint this white, the red doesn't show through. I'm going to give the frame 2 coats of white chalk paint. Now, I was so excited the other day when I popped into Michael's and I found their Craft Smart chalk paint in the 8-ounce bottle on sale for $3. I was only able to pick up one white one, but I did pick up 2 that are a parchment color, so just a little bit of an off-white. But what a deal. Make sure you check out all of your stores for any time that they might be clearing out some products, because you never know when you can find a deal. I found this beautiful printable graphic of black and white buffalo check on Creative Fabrica, and I'll have the link to this particular product down in my description box, but I also have a link to just the Creative Fabrica website. You can find a lot of beautiful graphics and images and fonts and SVG files on there for free, but you can also sign up for a yearly subscription, which isn't that much money. As you just saw, I traced out the glass frame on top of the paper, making sure that I had it nicely centered, and now I'm just cutting it out. I flipped the frame over to the back, and I'm going to use hot glue to glue the glass in place. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to take my piece of buffalo check paper and glue that on top of the glass. Once the paper was glued down, I also added a little bit of extra hot glue all the way around to make sure that the glass and the paper would stay put. This tool is one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. It looks like a pen, but it's actually a weeding tool for vinyl. But it doesn't have the point like the regular Cricut weeder. It has a really sharp, thin, skinny little blade, and it's actually the blade of a sewing needle. And it's really helpful for getting into all of those tiny little areas where you need to weed out little bits of vinyl from your font. I designed this using the Cricut Design Space app, but I will have it available as a free printable on my website. The link for that is also down in my description box. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my squeegee and get this all on there really well and then peel up the transfer tape. For this project, I am going to do some distressing, but I just have a fine grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to go along the edges and the sides and anywhere there's a ridge or a bump like it would naturally wear, and just take some of the paint off to show some of the gray down below. I also glued a little block to the back of the sign just to give it a little bit of a kickstand so it could stand up better. These two little chunks of spindle were left over from a bed that I cut apart last year. And these little saucers, they actually came from the dollar store, but I got a pack of 12 for $3 at the thrift store. So I thought that was a pretty stinking deal. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and glue these together and make tiny little candlesticks or little risers for my tiered tray. I'm going to paint them both black first, completely, top to bottom, and I'm going to let that dry. And if I need to touch up anywhere, I will do that. I did find that painting the one that already had paint on it, this blue one, it covered pretty much with one coat. But the second one, because it was so shiny, it ended up taking a couple of coats. Once the black was dry, I went over them with a couple of coats of the white chalk paint because I want to do some distressing and bring out some of the black underneath. Again, I'm just using some fine grit sandpaper. I think this might be 120 or 180, and just very gently going over it in the spots where I want the white paint to come off and the black to show through. Moving on to my last project, and don't worry, I will be showing you what those little candlesticks look like once I get everything staged. I took apart some leaves of eucalyptus that I had in my stash, and I've got this styrofoam ball. I think this one is about a 2-inch or maybe a 2.5-inch, and I'm just going to cover the whole part of the styrofoam with these flat leaves. I just didn't feel like painting it green. So anyway, I'm just going to continue doing that until the whole thing is covered. Here's what it looks like now that it's all covered. And what I'm going to do is take some smaller sprigs of boxwood greenery, cut them even a little bit shorter, and then make a little topiary ball out of this. I want to be able to set this on top of one of my little candlesticks, and I think it turned out really cute. It was really easy to add these other little sprigs because I just added some hot glue and then pushed the end of the stem right underneath the leaf that was already there. I didn't end up gluing those original leaves all the way flat. They had a little bit of space on each side, so that worked to my advantage. Once I got this the way I wanted it, I just kind of trimmed it off a little bit. I wanted it to lay flat on top of one of those little candlesticks, and I think it turned out pretty cute. I hope you enjoyed my thrift flips into tiered tray farmhouse decor. And if you did, I would love it if you could give me a thumbs up. That gets me noticed more on YouTube and helps my channel grow. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you like what you saw, I would love it if you could click that subscribe button. The black arrow will point you in the right direction. Next time you're out thrifting, make sure you don't pass up looking at all those littles. There's sure to be something there that you can upcycle into beautiful home decor. Bye for now.